All right, let's begin with my segment this week. It's a little something called Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda, and very simple. Very simple. It's not a game necessarily or anything, but I have some opinions and some thoughts. I'm sure y'all have opinions and thoughts too, whether it be NFL related or not NFL related. But I was thinking about a shoulda, coulda, woulda with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, and I thought I could probably come up with something for every team or a person or a player. We could improvise something for anything, really. We have some thoughts also that already stored away. So I'll first share my shoulda, coulda, woulda for Bill Belichick. And I was thinking, based on the way that things have played out this season, I believe that Bill Belichick should have retired at the end of 2019, knowing that Tom Brady was leaving, realizing that he got extremely lucky with Tom Brady, and knowing also that he could have picked any team he wanted next year. He could have looked at it and said, hey, look, at the LA Chargers, they got Justin Herbert. They got a top 5 draft pick. They got a bunch of cap space. They play in Los Angeles, SoFi Stadium, Joey Bosa. Keep going, Johnny, with the fingers. Derwin James.
Yeah, that's 7. Yeah.
Casey Hayward, Linval Joseph,
Right.
Brian Bulaga.
Good weather.
Austin Eckler, Mac Williams, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry. Good weather. So I think that Bill Belichick,
Pink's hot dog.
What's hot? Oh, Pink's hot dog. Yeah, I
Thanks.
thought you said hates
It's
hot
important.
dog.
Who hates hot dogs?
I once saw Guy Fieri at Pink's hot dogs at 9 a.m.
No cameras, no film crew.
He legitimately I was going to groundlings class and I walked past Pink's hot dogs at 9 a.m. and he's in there with, I guess, like,
I caught the red eye to Flavortown, bro.
getting a hot dog at 9 a.m. with some, someone who works with him, I think. But
what a shithead. Guy Fieri, if you're hearing this, and I'm sorry for anyone that's sensitive to suicide awareness things, but kill yourself.
Very nice guy. But he should have retired. He could have picked any team that he had, and I think he would have been able to been a lot more successful in his post-Brady career and been able to separate himself even from the argument of whether or not it was Belichick or Brady if he had just taken it back, because then he wouldn't have had to play Cam Newton. But, yeah, that's a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Johnny, do you have a shoulda, coulda, woulda for the New York Jets?
I do, but I changed it.
Oh.
I changed it to the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Okay, and just so I have it's could've, then should've, then would've, or could've, would've, then should've.
I believe what it is should've is first.
And then would've, and then could've, right?
You could say could've. I could say Bill Belichick could have retired.
I'm going to say should've. I'm going to go should've, and then could've, and then would've for the Detroit Lions. Okay? Okay. So the Detroit Lions should have drafted a quarterback this year with the number 3 pick, which would have been Justin Herbert or Tua, Tango Viola Davis. And then they could have traded Matt Stafford for something. Something. And then they would have been in the position to challenge for the division title the moment that Aaron Rodgers retires.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know why teams don't do more things like that.
Well, the Packers did with the kid out of Utah State.
Yeah, I mean, but they didn't immediately trade Aaron Rodgers, but that's not the same situation as if they had Tua or something like that, or Justin Herbert.
Because if you're the Lions, what is Matt Stafford going to do with the team they have?
Oh, I think you're absolutely right in the sense that these teams right now are idiots. The Washington football team, the Detroit Lions, and the New York Giants.
And the Cowboys and the Cowboys.
but specifically the three teams that passed on Tua and Herbert, they're always going to be regretting that decision. Probably. I mean, I don't know. Anything is possible, but
then again, if you're the Lions, are you really gonna? I mean, if they draft them, they're not going to be good because they're the Lions.
if they're that's a problem.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
That's an issue as well. Andrew, would you say that you have shoulda, coulda, woulda locked in, or could you come up with one for the New York Giants?
Andrew should have came up with one that he could have contributed to the segment, and he wouldn't be a damper on the podcast.
Andrew, you're not
you're
making
muted,
noise because
Andrew.
of a muted situation.
There you go, AG. Get him, Tiger.
Oh man. Well, what I was saying when I was muted, I live in the moment, guys. This is a tough thing for me to conceptualize. You only got you got a rear view mirror, and it's pretty small. I prefer to look out.
It's a very wide mirror.
Front windshield, and it's a big piece of glass with a lot of possibilities. But if I'm going to entertain this coulda, shoulda, woulda for the Giants, I think we could have not gone with such a Bill Belichick, this guy was from, we kind of picked Joe Judge based off of who he had worked for,
The tree.
Yeah, the tree. And I just don't know if that is a high percentage play as much as we think it is. And it's because it's if you think about it, I've had some great, I've worked under some great people, right? I was dishwasher in a kitchen in Los Angeles, and I remember
if I could really interject really fast, you got your kitchen in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Mikey, I want to ask you when, and you can think about this, what your shoulda, coulda, woulda is for your fantasy team. Back to you, Andrew.
Okay. I'm going to finish this thought quick. I worked there for solid year plus, right? Worked hard, liked all the chefs. They were amazing at what they did. They were just, they created great dishes, right? If you hired me to, cook great food, just because I was there, just wouldn't work,
Mikey knows a thing or two about cooking good food, I believe.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. So I think we could have gone with someone we could have gotten a little more creative with the head coaching selection. I think that if thinking outside the box, and I just don't think Joe Judge is the right guy for kind of an understaffed Giants team.
Oh, and just a real quick. Here are the wide receivers that the Eagles could have or should have or would have picked around Jalen Reagor. Let me just go. Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins. Any one of those would have been a hit. They suck.
T. Higgins looks pretty good recently. And he had a good training camp. So it's all coming in for everyone. But those Eagles. Well, Travis Fulgham is one of the better young receivers in the league right now.
Yeah. And then everyone said who, and everyone's still like, who?
Mikey, we were talking about your fantasy team earlier on. It might have been off podcast. Do you have a shoulda, coulda, woulda, any regrets or something you could have done differently with fantasy this year?
Yes, I have nothing but regrets. I should have picked Russell Wilson as quarterback. I usually have several Seahawks just out of pride. Anytime I play fantasy, just makes it more fun. And I only picked one, and I regret doing that. So I think I definitely should have picked Russell Wilson, and I fully regret that. Okay, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda picked Russell Wilson. I could have done more research into more running backs. I really didn't. I put so much stock into Saquon, and I was like, he's gonna put up 50 points for me every week. Why do any research? I really could have done done some fucking homework. I didn't. I really got stars in my eyes and thought that I didn't have to do that. And then, I would have had a shot at not being fucking last place, which is where I am. And it's very hard, just scraping through waivers week after week, just trying to scrounge anything. But, when you're in last place, it's just hard to care anymore. You're like, I'm the bottom.
Yeah, scraping is definitely the best word.
Yeah.
Talking about the waiver wires, just scraping.
That's what's happening.
Well, maybe tear up a little bit. That image, just because I know exactly the feeling. You're just like, is there someone has a big game and you add them and they'll put up and the next week they'll put up 0.
Yeah. A lot of that. Whole lot of that this year for me. That's okay.
Well, thank you for sharing your regrets and your last place current standing. I know that takes a lot of guts to do.
Yeah, I'm brave. I'm really brave, is what it is.
And that's it for Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda. That's we'll cut it there just in time. Let's go over to the Attorney General for segment number 2. You're muted again, my friend.
I did that one on purpose.
Classic.
Oh, dude, speaking of. All right. So, I recently watched a television show called Ted Lasso, and the show was wonderful. But it was about Premier League soccer in England, and I didn't know much about it. And what I found out with watching this show is that they have 20 teams, and the last 3 teams in the standings get demoted, or they call it relegated, to the league below. And the teams in the league below,
spoiler alert.
Well, it does not really have to do with the show. And then the league below, the teams can get promoted. So I was thinking, wow, what if we had a little game around this, with the NFL? And so today what we're going to do is we are going to relegate 8 NFL teams. There's 4.
8.
We each get 2. And this is the fun part, okay? So the top 32 minus 8, 24 teams, the top 24 teams, okay? For the remainder of the season, the top 24 teams, 3 of them are going to be relegated, and 3 of these teams that we relegate are going to have a chance to get back up, okay? Great. And there has to be real, and it could be that none of them, it could be that it stays the same, but if there's a change by the end of the Goofballs season, I don't know if we include playoffs or whatever, it's to be determined, but we're going to see, where these teams that we relegated go. So we're going to do, a little around the horn here, and we're just going to each go around and relegate, demote a team. And I will start. I'll get this game going here. I'm going to relegate the New York Jets. It's a pretty easy pick. That Patriots loss was, I think, just an exclamation point. They had the game, and it didn't. It was a pretty hard game to lose, and they still lost it. And I don't think a lot of people get excited when the Jets are on TV. So we will. Let's. I'll go to our guest, Mikey. Do you have any teams and I have the standings here. If anyone, some of the other bad teams, but
who's in third place?
What's that?
Who's in third place? Never mind.
I would. Is this are we teaching them a lesson by doing this? Are they gonna learn something? And
no, it can't just be out of spite, Mikey. It's got to be based on merit, somewhat at least.
Sure. Okay, well, then the Jags gotta go.
Took
Those
my pick.
poor Jags. And hopefully, my hope is that it's not just they go into a vortex, but they actually go and they're like, damn, we got relegated. We have to think about this and restructure our whole thing. The Jags have been terrible for years, and so are the Seahawks. Honestly, for a long portion of my life, not a great team. So I know a thing or two about watching your boys lose week after week. But they gotta do some major shit. They gotta shake that squad up. So the Jags is my pick.
Okay, wonderful. Come in. So we have the Jets and the Jaguars are now playing in the league below, which we have yet to name. I will flip it over because it sounds like Johnny lost his pick there. So I'll flip it over to Kenny. Give you a second there to recoup there, Johnny. So
He might take my pick.
Recoup, like Cooper Rush. Should we talk about the Dallas Cowboys? I'll say that I'm going to relegate the Washington football team.
Took my pick.
No brainer. They don't compete. They're not competing this season. They don't have anything interesting going on at quarterback. They're, interesting. Yes, Alex Smith is interesting, but it's going to be, and they're just not contributing a lot in terms of grace and honor. So it's going to be the Washington football team.
Okay. All right. Washington football team is out. Johnny, you're up.
Yeah, well, I really want to relegate the Giants, but New York needs one team, right? Like that market needs one team. Like it needs it. I'm gonna go ahead and relegate the Atlanta Falcons because the fuck are you doing? Every year. Tell me, Kenneth. Tell me if I'm wrong. Every single year, there's like the largest majority of the minority of people that are like, I have a sleeper team that's going to make a run in the playoffs or make the play. And it's always people that are like the Falcons. Look at the roster. They're so much better than what they played. Are they so much better than they play, or do they just stink on ice every year? Stink on Matty ice.
Hey, here's a fun fact. The team with the team that has had the lead for the second most, they have the second most offensive snaps this season with the lead is the Falcons. So they've basically had the lead for more game time than all but one team in the league, but they're 3-6.
They stink. They suck. And I should have relegated the Chargers now that I think about it. But the LA market needs two teams, so I didn't.
Well, it's not my segment. I'm going over to Andrew.
Okay. All right. So, if they did this in every league, this relegation thing, New York would be a pretty sad place from a sports standpoint. I think I would have lost my beloved New York Knicks a few years ago. And the Mets, even though I'm not a Mets fan, I think it would just be the Yankees and the Rangers. And I guess the Islanders, maybe the Nets. I don't know, but I'm gonna relegate. I'm gonna hold my team accountable. I'm gonna relegate the New York Giants to the league below because I think they need to. It's time to look in the mirror and do a little gut check. So I'm relegating the Jets and the Giants.
Wow. Mikey?
It's back to me?
Yes.
Okay, so I know Johnny said you can't do any spite relegation.
I didn't say you can't. I said maybe you shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Do whatever you want, man.
You have the power. You have the power to do whatever.
It's your podcast when you're talking.
The Niners are getting relegated, man. Fuck the Niners. I don't care if they're having a good season or not. They're not. But you know what? They were disrespectful to Kaepernick when all that shit went down. They have never redeemed themselves. They're our rival team. I never liked them. They're relegated forever, maybe.
Very hard to go last in this, by the way.
Okay, I think that's a solid pick. And you know what? A team is more about wins and losses. You gotta look at your heart and how you're operating as a franchise.
Agree.
You made some really good points there. So 49ers, we'll see ya. All right. And you know what?
Don't take my spot just because Johnny complained.
I
know exactly what
He's
you're
going to
doing.
take my
Don't
team. Watch,
care.
he takes my team. I guarantee it.
I'm not gonna.
I guarantee it. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Since all right, Kenny, you go.
I think it's pretty obvious, and thank you for just the regular fantasy rules of fairness. Going a rotisserie chicken here. They're definitely, I don't want to relegate a team like the Bengals, even though they don't win enough because they've got Joe Burrow.
Exactly. They're trying. Yeah.
They're on the way up.
You're gonna take my pick.
I hate the idea of there being teams out there that just clearly aren't going in the right direction. They've made terrible decisions this year, made the worst signing of the entire offseason, and put themselves in a dire situation that they won't recover from a long time. It's time to get rid of the New England Patriots. So it's
okay, never mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not my pick, no.
Wow, same exact description, and yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you see my pick, is it?
Any team that signs Cam Newton to be its franchise quarterback has to go.
See, this is just Kenneth wanting to spit in the face of tradition, of winning. Just, if any other team picked him off on the 1 yard line or the 2 yard line or whatever it was, it would have been that team to go.
Oh, boy.
It's funny
That's a
how,
good pick.
at the time, how much people talked shit about Russell Wilson throwing it for the win, and now we're talking about why the fuck would you ever put the ball in anyone else's hands?
I'm just saying the Eagles beat Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. The Seahawks didn't.
Yeah. So
I wasn't involved in either game.
that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You didn't play.
And I
played one down. I played one down. Yeah, I blocked downfield for one punt.
So yeah, Patriots.
All right, Patriots are out. We had a pretty standard. I think we had some expected relegations here, and now we got some original old school teams here. 49ers and New England Patriots are out, and they're gonna have to get their shit together.
Some soul searching, yeah.
Yeah, there's just some soul searching here. So, Johnny, we have one more team for. I think I have the name for this league now. I think we're going to call it the School of Rock.
What?
I don't know. I didn't have anything, but I just thought of Jack Black for some reason.
Are we pitching league names?
Yeah, let's pitch some league names real quick.
How about the Little Peepee Boys?
Little Peepee Boys, all right.
Yeah. The league is called the Little Peepee Boys.
Little Peepee Boys. Sorry, we got Little Peepee Boys.
I'll call it NFL 2.
All right. Kenny, you got a pick for us here? I think Little Peepee Boys might be.
No, just like NFLS or something maybe.
NFLS.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Well, Johnny, we have 7 teams in the Little Peepee Boys League, and
Yes.
it's time for the final team. Who are you sending down?
The final team in the LPBL. When you talk about a franchise in disarray, a franchise that has soiled itself for years to come, a franchise that hasn't done anything good and, in fact, has done many things detrimental in off seasons, countless years. You have to relegate the Houston Texans, right? They have to leave. In fact, I would want to not only relegate them, I would, relocate them. I think the Houston Texans, as the Mexico City Toros, would be a fantastic. You don't even have to change the logo much because it's still a longhorn. It's still a bull.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So So the Houston Texans.
I almost picked the Texans.
You know what? If you just change the dark blue to green, that logo still, that's Mexico City, baby.
My only criticism would be Mexico City's huge, booming, 23 million person city. I don't know how it's kind of a bad look us throwing them the Texans. I think we could do better than that, but
Don't make them good. We want to give the Jaguars to England. I mean, come on.
okay.
Let's give our neighbors something better. And the altitude, they'll have an advantage wherever they go.
Johnny, did you leave the Cowboys out of this because you like watching them lose too much?
Yes. There's nothing better than beating the Cowboys, and if they're in any other league and the Eagles aren't, you can't beat them. You know what they say: if you can beat them, join them. Yep.
So that's I'm never good at ending segments. Just like goodbyes, they're not easy. But that's it. I'll see you later.
All right, real quick. Round table. One city that doesn't have an NFL franchise that should go. Mikey.
Portland, I guess.
Okay. Kenneth.
St. Louis.
Andrew.
Memphis.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Toronto.
Ooh, Toronto. Yeah.
Works for me. And also, speaking of working for me, let's go over to one of my employees, Johnny Schwartzbein.
Hey, I work for Kenneth. Hey, everybody. It's time for my segment. Thanks, Kenneth, for paying me and giving me a job during this pandemic. Okay, here we go. As always, I have a game show cooked up for you. And one thing I noticed this week is that a lot of players and teams sucked. So this game show is called Who Did Worse? Fantasy Points Edition. I'm going to give you, there's 2 rounds, so we'll go in this order. Mikey, Kenneth, Andrew, okay? So we'll have 1 round where I go Mikey, Kenneth, and then Andrew, and then a second round, Mikey, Kenneth, Andrew, and then a final question, all right? You have an option. When I give you the category, you can either try and answer from one of 3 potential answers. If you get it correct, you get 1 point. If you get it incorrect, you get -2 points.
Oh, no.
If you don't want to answer, you can pass the question to either other of the players and say, I think so-and-so is a dumb fuck. And then they have to guess. And if they get it wrong, they get -2. If they get it right, they get a point.
This is just set up for me to lose.
No, it's set up for Andrew to win. Okay, here we go. Mikey, you're first. Ready?
Okay.
Who did worse fantasy points, quarterbacks? Kyle Allen, Tom Brady, or Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston. Kyle Allen, Tom Brady, Jameis Winston. Do you want to guess, or do you want to call someone a dumb fuck?
Sure, I'll guess. Having only watched 1 football game, I'm gonna guess Tom Brady.
Incorrect. Jameis Winston did worse. Kyle Allen 2.48, Tom Brady 2.36, Jameis Winston 0.18. A little tricky there,
dang.
but you are the dumb fuck. This question, -2 points for you. Kenneth, are you ready?
This is all for this week's games.
Y'all's?
Okay, great.
Okay. Who did worse fantasy points running backs? Melvin Gordon III, James Conner, or Dion Lewis?
No idea. Dion Lewis.
He did the best. 4.1, James Conner 4, and Melvin Gordon 3.7. He was the worst. You get -2 points.
Oh, shit.
Bad, Kenneth. You suck. Okay. Are you ready, Andrew?
Yes.
Okay. Wide receivers. Who did worst? Henry Ruggs III, Antonio Brown, or Adam Thielen?
Antonio Brown.
Wrong again. You're bad also. Henry Ruggs III only had 1 point. Everyone else had at least 5, which means at the end of round 1, everyone has -2 points.
Yes.
We're going under.
All of you suck.
We're getting relegated. Getting fucking relegated here to Pinky
All of you
Boys.
suck, just like all of these people. Who are millionaires? Moving on to round 2. Mikey, you ready?
Yeah, I'm
Who
ready.
did worse? Tight ends. Jared Cook, Rob Gronkowski, Jason Witten.
Jason Witten.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct. He only had 1 point. Rob Gronkowski had 1.2 points, which means, Mikey, you're in the lead with -1. This
Yes.
game is about people that did badly, and it's set up so everyone will have negative points, hopefully, by the end.
It's pretty much impossible. You can't do anything other than guess.
You can pass it to someone else. I said in the things, you can pass it to someone else.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's why I set it
They
up
have
like
the
that.
same
So you
odds
didn't
as
have
you
to
do to-
take.
They also have the
Exactly.
same odds as you do to get it right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's why I set it up like that, so you can make someone else fuck up instead of you fucking up.
Okay.
But no one took advantage of that in the round 1. Here we go, Kenneth. Who did worse fantasy points? Defense and special teams. Jets, the Falcons, or the Bucks?
Okay, this feels like a little bit more I can guess. Jets, Falcons, Bucks. Oh wait, the Bucks got blown out. I'm gonna say the Bucks.
Incorrect.
Fuck.
Should have taken advantage of the mechanics of the game because someone would have fallen for that trap instead of you. The Jets had -4. Bucks had -1, and the Falcons had 0, which is the same as the Eagles, and the Eagles were on a bye, which means you are at -4, Kenneth. Not playing
I
the
think-
game the way it was designed.
I'll be the answer to the clue.
Andrew,
Who's
you
did
ready?
the worst?
Yes.
Who did worse? This one's especially for you, Andrew.
All right.
Fantasy points kickers. Ryan Suckup, who's on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'll let you know. Cairo Santos, who's on the Bears, because you didn't know that. And Dan Bailey, who's on the Minnesota Vikings, because you can't name a single kicker in the league.
Dan Bailey.
Correct!
Yes.
Correct! That was set up for you because Ryan Suckup and Dan Bailey both had 4. And Cairo Santos had 5. So you really had a 2 and 3 shot. Good job, Andrew.
I think your game has a grammatical flaw anyway, which is that it's called "Who Did Worse" when it should be called "Who Did the Worst."
Going on to the final round. Final round. Okay. So I'm going to give you this question. And for every second you are off of the guess, you will get -10 points. Does everyone understand?
Oh my God.
So I'm going to ask you for a time, an amount of time. And for every second you are off, you get -10 points.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll go in order of whoever has the most, whoever's in the lead, and then Kenneth, you go last. So we'll go Mikey, we'll go Andrew, and then Kenneth. Okay? During the fourth quarter of the Jets-Patriots game, the Jets had a total of 4 plays that amounted to 3 yards and 1 interception. What was the Jets' total time of possession in the fourth quarter? Mind you, they were up by 10 for most of it. Jets' total time of possession in the fourth quarter of their game versus the Patriots. Mikey. This is
7 minutes.
maybe the worst guess in the history of Goofballs. Andrew.
I passed it to Kenny.
No, you can't pass on this one. You can't. He has to answer.
All right. 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that it's pretty low. I'm going to go 56 seconds.
Kenneth wins by a mile. Their total time of possession was
Jesus.
1 minute and 24 seconds.
Holy shit.
They were winning by 10 points for the majority of the quarter. They managed to get 3 yards and 1 interception in 1 minute and 24 seconds. Kenneth, you win by a ton.
Wait, you didn't do how many seconds though?
Okay, so it's
What's that?
84 seconds. So how many seconds are in 7 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Hey,
much
it's your
you lost.
game.
That's how
I
much you
just want to
lost.
hear
by.
the results. I want my results, sir.
A quiz master, not a calculator whiz. That's the end
Bullshit.
of Kenneth.
Bullshit. I want to know.
Whom did worst?
Who did worse?
This is live footage from Mikey's submarine. The balls are breaking. The water's coming in.
All I'll say is I was 28 seconds off, which means unless you were 28 seconds off or less because of the way that it was negative 10 points per second.
No, he said
right?
2 minutes. So if you add 28 seconds onto it, it's a minute 56.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, you won. As soon as he said 2 minutes and you didn't, you won.
And that's whomst did worst, and that's the end of Goofballs. Let's move around the old horn, as I like to say at ESPN. And Mikey, anything you'd like to say to all the folks out there? There's Seattle people in the audience. There's Seahawks fans, and there's also fans of good music. Anything you'd like to say?
Sure. What's up, Seattle people? South End represent. Beacon Hill, what's up? Find me on the internets at Mikey Loves Mikey. That's pretty much it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, Johnny Schwartzbein.
Follow me, Johnny Schwartzbein, on Instagram and Twitter at JGS Comedy. Like Goofballs, a football podcast on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at GoofballsP. Follow us on Instagram at Goofballs Podcast. Find this podcast on YouTube. Search Goofballs Podcast on YouTube and find it as video. And also, SeaTac is a lovely airport, very clean.
Andrew Grace.
Thanks, Goofball Nation.
He's around the horn, I think. And that's it for this episode of Goofballs. Come back next week. We will goof around again.
Cowboys suck.